appreciate you sitting down with us. First of all, how's 2020 going for you? Congrats on Nurses. I know y'all just wrapped the second season, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yeah.
so that being said, how's it been? I know the year's been nuts, but for you, how's it been for you and yours?
Yeah, no, I agree. No, the year's been crazy. It's been eye-opening on so many levels, just not only for myself and my relationship with my girlfriend, but like the world, man. Like everybody's, either going through something crazy and traumatic and just god awful, or, there's some people that are like finding themselves through this time, and whether it being in a creative outlet, or reaching out to old friends that they haven't spoken to in a long time. So for me, I think I had kind of the whole spectrum of it. We had a family friend pass away from COVID, and then on the other side of the spectrum, like I wrote my first screenplay like by myself. So it's, and then we did season 2 of Nurses. So I'm grateful. I'm beyond grateful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you're right. I think it's a really challenging time too to juggle those successes and feel happy about those successes, and rightly
Right.
so, because you've been working so hard. But then at the same time, finding that moment to empathize and sympathize with the folks who are really just like in the thick of things. Um, and speaking of which, the show is it's just incredibly gripping and thoughtful. And just thinking about the pandemic and thinking about everything that's been going on, what's it been like to portray these essential workers and to, be you're on a set, and you're getting set directions, but there is still that palpable anxiety and stress there. So what's that experience been like?
I mean, I can speak more so on season 2. It was like an an adrenaline rush. It was exhausting. It was liberating. But it was also like a lot of pressure, because you knew deep down that you had a responsibility to represent these frontline workers, these first responders, everybody that's been, even just essential workers. I know it falls into that category, but even the people that were delivering the food with Uber and DoorDash, and you know what I mean? Like, they are so, like, hats off to them, man. They, throughout the whole quarantine, that's, they were the ones working. And so I think, in conclusion, it was just a tremendous sense of responsibility, that I had prepping and feeling throughout the whole project, for sure.
Yeah, and I think this year, more than any, we're finding out how far that phrase or that term essential worker really goes.
Right.
Um, a lot of people making commentary on the fact that, yeah, I'm being called into work, but I don't work in the healthcare field, and they deem me an essential worker. So I'm sure that stress and that anxiety was really palpable, and it came out on screen in your performances, which again were just captivating. Um,
Thank you.
Kathy White at the beginning of the season has that really stellar, like comparison to all those essential and critical organs to you and your your castmates. Well, what was it like getting to build that camaraderie? And I'm sure it was much different from season 1 to season 2 after you've developed that bond with your peoples, and now it's like different circumstances. How was that like, still maintaining that relationship with your peers?
Great question. Well, season 1 definitely was kind of. I'm trying to remember, because we filmed the first season almost 2 years ago. It was pre-COVID, so unfortunately, we don't have, like, COVID plot lines in the first season. But as you said, it is. We're still showing the crucial importance that frontline workers have, even under normal circumstances, and the empathy that nurses show, and I think, coming into season 1, that's what we all had as a cast. We had this camaraderie, because it was like Tierra Scobie's first, like, leading role, number 1 on the call sheet. It was like Natasha's, first leading role, my first leading role. Like, it was all of our first, lead series, regular, poster, billboard, Sunset Boulevard. It was our first time. So we felt that. And then Kathy White comes in, and she had more, some experience on Vikings and all these other great projects. So it was like she was like the den mother. So it was like this great community of people. And then moving into season 2, it was like we had this layer of trust and a year of experience together in the trenches. And then we brought it into season 2, and then it was like, I don't know, man. As you said, during the quarantine, all of that connected, and it was just this special thing that came out of it, and we all felt it. And I'm not even just saying that. It was a special from day one of production of season 2 to the end. It was like this electricity throughout set for so many reasons. Sorry for the long-winded answer. I apologize.
No, that's really what I'm looking for anytime I'm asking folks how they're really feeling about the work they're committed to, and it shows. It's not a performance in how you're responding, especially because you can't fake that organic kind of chemistry. No pun intended, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it just looks like audiences can't get enough of seeing that on screen. You know what I mean? Like there are years and decades of medical and health TV shows. And my wife loves Grey's Anatomy. I can't sit and watch for more than 10 minutes. I'm really squeamish. So I'm wondering, what's that like? I don't know if you are as squeamish. If you used a lot of source material from like older TV shows, more, popular characters that you may have found some influence from. Where were you finding that to help build Keon?
Oh my God. First of all, Jamal, right? That is you're Jamal. Okay, my brother's name is Jamal. So shout outs to you. Shout outs to my brother. You know what I mean? Shout outs to that. Okay. For the first season, sorry. Can you stop? She's scratching up the place. For the first season coming in, I did Suits, a recurring role. I did Upload, recurring role. I did a whole bunch of things that were just kind of like, series regulars and, but smaller character arcs. So going into season 1, I'm being honest, I didn't fully know what to do. I was like, okay, let me just do what I've done in the past. Okay, I just did the prep, and I, did what I normally did. And I looked at ER, I looked at Scrubs. My haircut in the first season was like kind of like the dude from Scrubs, like that's what inspired it. I wanted to kind of pay homage in like a subtle way, and and to the ones that did it before us. But going into season 2, it was like I wanted to do more work on the actual medicine. So that was a major like committed obsession that I had, was like, no matter what they give me, I'm going to be a nurse doing it. So I just had like a lot of I had like 60 pages of backstory and medical terms and different things that had nothing to do with what was on the page. I just added everything into it because it was like, that's what a real nurse is. Like, they're not just dealing with this one patient. They have 8 other patients depending on the day. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's that legwork you do that really makes your character shine and brings that genuine approach to the profession. I'm just curious. After this, you've got 2 seasons. So looking at the series as a whole, and how different it is from the other roles you've played, how underprepared or prepared do you feel as a result, or at least just looking back? I know you said when you're coming in, you only had so much working information of like the medical field, but in terms of preparedness, how do you feel if you were to continue, down this path, if you were to portray another healthcare worker, how ready does this kind of a role make you?
Each role you do, you take a little bit from them, in the research and stuff. I mean, so much respect. My sister's a nurse. My cousin's a nurse. I got family members that are nurses, or I have family members that are doctors as well, friends that are veterinarians, and the amount of work that I did just to get a little like sliver of knowledge it blows my mind. So I'll know where to start, and that is like, you know, med.com, or just getting like a medical book encyclopedia and just going through it. I have another book, like the slang of, you know, what medical professionals do and what they say behind closed doors, like when the patients aren't around, and how they talk, and just different things that they do that you have no idea, because, you know, you're always on the other side. So when you get to like go underneath and, you know, kind of unveil the curtain, it's a whole different world.
And I know that's probably doubly true in this moment as a young actor, a young actor of color, in a very critical and crucial moment socially for us as well. And what is that meant to you? I know in the past, when you look at a lot of older TV shows, a lot of older movies, a lot of the black male characters play like the comic relief, something downplayed, right? There's not a lot of depth or flesh to this very human character.
Right.
But someone like Keon is very complicated, and very nuanced. So what's that feeling been like to be on screen and representing, quite literally some of the most important people, you know, right now in society?
I'm taking a second, because like the way you worded it, the way you said it, I am a very sensitive person, so it takes me aback, because I know, as I said before, the pressure and the responsibility that you have. And, you know, there were nights before, you know, last year when it was premiering, I was at like the hotel, and I flew in from LA, and I was at the hotel, and I was like, the night before, I couldn't even sleep, because I knew who was going to be watching. I know how much people in my own family, in my own community. Like, I'm from Scarborough, Toronto, Ontario. Like, that's like the Queens of Toronto, like, you know, the East Side, and just knowing those people looking at me and can relate right away. They know what school I went to. They know, you know, my family. Like, it's just, you pray about it, you meditate on it, and you ask the universe to give you the right words to say, because, man, I'm going in there, and I'm, you know, I'll be the first to say, man, I had some battles with the bosses, you know, and it was always like constructive, and it was always progressive. It was never like met with negativity, but it was like I had to bring what the real people, like the culture, like what we know, what it's been like to see everyone else on the screen for so long. Like, I went to them and said, yo, this is what it is. And it was like a very powerful, passionate, tearful conversation, but it needed to be had. And what a time to do it, right? The biggest civil rights movement in all of history. What a time.
I think it's pretty clear that, you know, the universe found its way toward you to put you in this position, because it understood how significant this moment would mean for an actor like you, and what you'd be able to do with it. And again, it shows. And someone like myself is really grateful to see that, because it is inspiring, and hopefully one day I could see myself in that position. Maybe not in like a hospital scene. I don't want to faint on camera, but you know what I mean? Maybe something a little up my alley, like some action pack, maybe a little comedy.
Absolutely.
But before I let you go, what can fans look forward to, Jordan? What else are you working on? What's something you want to plug?
Well, okay, so we got all of season 1 of Nurses and season 2. So I'll just put that, you know, boom, right there. And then we got season 2 of Upload coming in the pipeline. And then my girlfriend and I were working on this screenplay called Mathematics, and it's a human story, and it's we're coming with it, man. Like, just know, like, this is something that's been in the works for a very long time. And it's like one script turned into another script, and turned into another script, and now it's like what it is today. And give me about a year and a half, because that's, you know, how long it takes to develop and get the money and all that stuff. It's gonna be revolutionary, man. Amen to that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It sounds stellar. And when it does come out, I'm gonna need to look at it, take some notes, take some pointers, because my wife and I tried working on a writing project together, and after 10 minutes, she almost kicked my ass. So I need to learn, you know, what you had working in
Oh
the
man,
background. But Jordan, I really appreciate it, brother. Wishing you nothing but the best in
thank
the
you.
future. Of course, it's going to be out there. I'm super excited to see the rest of nurses and see where it goes. But again, brother, thank you so much and congrats.
Likewise, man. Thank you.